In this video, I'm hunting in 5 different levels of camouflage. The levels will increase in danger and creativity, with each level getting more extreme than the last.
And by the end of this video, I'm hoping that I'm completely invisible.
Because later on, I'll be putting whichever camouflage wins to the ultimate test in shark-infested waters.
I came to the Bahamas with one goal, to find out which camouflage is the best for spearfishing, and I'll do whatever it takes to become a better hunter. So let's get into level 1. I figured we'd baseline this test with nothing on. Just kidding. For level 1, I'm actually going to be spearfishing in this Speedo. After all, this is how our ancestors used to feed their families, so it's time to see if I can do the same.
The first thing I noticed about this camouflage is that it is terrible at protecting my skin. I'm getting stung left and right by just about anything in the water. The good news is that my skin tone is the same color as some of the corals, so if you're looking through some corals, it's not a guarantee that a fish will see me. With that being said, if I'm out in the open, I stick out like a sore thumb. The first animal I ran into was an incredibly large nurse shark. As I was looking at it, I realized that its ribs were completely extended out, meaning that this girl is pregnant. A cool fact about nurse sharks is as they age, their skin tone is going to get darker, and that's because the sun actually gives them a tan, except they don't tan brown, they tan gray. They like to eat crabs and lobsters or any crustaceans they could find. Usually when these guys are in the area, it's a good sign that the lobsters are nearby too. And after following the nurse shark, it turns out he was 100% right, because I did find a lobster of my own. This is what I look like looking at him. I was curious if he noticed me or not, but after he darted into the back of the cave, that was plenty of confirmation saying that this camouflage was definitely not working. The good news is that if you find a big enough fish, they won't be afraid of you. And right here is a pretty large white margate that I sneak up on, and I actually put my spear right into his head. He was so large that he ripped my spear out of my hands, and by the time I was able to get to the end of my spear tip, he was already ripped off of it. I was looking at the little piece of brain he left on the end of my spear, and then to the left, I noticed a stingray kind of leisurely swimming through the ocean. The only thing this stingray has to concern himself with are hammerhead sharks. We actually see one of them later in this video. As this ray swam into the open ocean, it kind of gave me an idea, but as I was getting out of the water, my safety diver said this.
This is the stupidest outfit you could have ever chose to go spearfishing in. You don't have any camo, your skin's completely showing, it's got blue all over the place.
You think this is too much blue?
Yeah, definitely too much blue.
For level 2, it's time to get creative. I'm gonna try to blend in with the open ocean in this blue suit.
Oh, and I forgot to mention that for each camouflage I test, I'll be rating them out of 5 for how well they let me sneak up on fish and how comfortable I am while diving. This will give us a total score of 10, which means level 1 got 3 stars.
Alright guys, I'm completely blue now.
If you're gonna be an idiot underwater, at least give yourself an advantage and use a bigger spear.
Alright guys, time to test level 2.
The first thing I noticed when I got in the water is that there are sharks everywhere. And not only are they just kind of chilling, hanging out in the water column, they are all extremely sped up and just waiting for an easy meal. For this reason, we have to be an extra effective hunter and be even stealthier than we normally would. Otherwise, we're gonna be the ones that end up as the shark bait. I began my descent, and the thing I like about this suit compared to the other one is that my entire body is covered. So what that means is that I'm gonna be able to glide on the grass a lot easier than I was before. On the grass, there's so many little jellyfish and I'm getting stung every time I touch it, but because I have this blue suit on, it's actually protecting me. I get to sneak up on this hogfish, and bro has no idea I'm even there until I put one down his dome. I don't know how he got off the end of my spear. You guys know that I don't give up easily, especially after I wound a fish. I'm extremely competitive, whether you're human or not, and I eventually wound up tracking this hogfish down and put one right in the same side as I did before. Because there are so many sharks in the area, you have to get your fish secured faster than normal, otherwise you'll get bit.
Alright, sharks here.
No. Bring the fish. Oh, it's right there. I see it.
I looked down and saw that the taxmen were moving in on me, and the first thing I noticed is that the shark on the left is a nurse shark, which is a good sign. Usually these guys won't get too aggressive. The shark in the back is a pretty large reef shark, and it's actually a juvenile. It's not completely an adult, which is more dangerous. The juveniles are a little bit more risky. Here's an even smaller one, and you can see he's fired up. He's getting really close to us. That's because he doesn't really know or respect humans at all. A lot of the times you'll wind up catching a fish, and these are the guys that swim in like 1,000 miles per hour just with their mouths open, hoping to catch anything. Another thing to keep in the back of your mind is that it's usually not the shark that you see that you have to be afraid of. It's the ones that you don't see. A lot of sharks are very afraid of eye contact. So if you ever notice one is coming in hot, you never want to swim away. You never want to just like complete paranoia paddle. That's only going to make them pursue you more. You actually just want to stand your ground and stare at them right in the face. And for the most part, they will leave you alone. If you qualify yourself as a predator, they will respect you as if you're a predator. As scary of a place the ocean might seem, it's not all bad. It's important to understand that as much as there is chaos, there's a lot of beauty in it. Right here is probably my cutest little baby sea turtle, and I always feel like these guys are good luck whenever I see them. He's not really too afraid of me. These guys don't have a lot of natural predators in the wild. Sometimes a really big shark can actually try to eat them, but they get to a certain size where most sharks kind of will just leave them alone. One thing is for sure though, he sees me and this camouflage is not working. Here's something you don't see every day. It's a pack of squid, and you can kind of see them blinking, slowly going through the water. They're absolutely delicious. The specific squid species is called a Caribbean reef squid. They do shoot ink if you wind up startling them, but you can see that this entire pod is kind of just vibing out. They're not really going anywhere too fast. Now that we understand the beauty and the chaos in the ocean, it's time to cause some chaos ourselves. I wind up spotting this pretty large barracuda. The problem when you try to get a barracuda is that it's one of the fastest fish in the ocean. Specifically when you have a pole spear, if you shoot it and it winds up taking off with your spear, it could get loose and snap back super hard at you, which is what happened to me. My finger got caught in my mechanism, but luckily it was just the suit. It wasn't actually like my bones or anything. As I look into this little cave, I see thousands of small fries, and if you follow this colony of them, you can see that it actually goes for as far as the eye could see. These lines of fish could go anywhere from hundreds of feet to miles, and at the end of the day, you never really know how far, how many fish there are, because it would be impossible to count. One thing that's for certain is that we can't consider this a good and tested camouflage unless I get a really big fish. Right here I see a grouper swimming in between these rocks. I make sure to take my time approaching him, and if you notice, he has no idea that I'm there, which is kind of making me think that this camouflage is working. This specific species of grouper is incredibly rare and only found in this part of the world. It truly is a record catch and about as big as this species gets.
Oh, nice. Let's freaking go. That's a nice one too, huh?
Yeah.
You got it.
The worst part about catching a big fish is that it always causes a lot of commotion, and that commotion will bring in the apex predators in the area. So the sharks came within like 2 minutes of hearing me catch that tiger grouper. We took this as our sign to get back onto the boat because we don't want to get bit today.
Not bad for my first grouper. Thank you, Ron. Better than level 1, but that is seriously nothing. Just wait until you see the next camouflage.
I'm gonna give this blue suit a 5 out of 10. I think I chose the wrong shade of blue.
If this camouflage is able to catch me this, I am so excited to see what the next levels have. For level 3, we're gonna be using this military grade body paint. And if it works, this could be the most overpowered camo yet.
The first contributor to how overpowered this camouflage was the fact that the green matched the sea floor perfectly. This would be amazing, except the bottom of the floor is covered in jellyfish larvae, so I'm not really able to just settle into the grass and really get comfortable there. Instead, I have to do this whack little hover, and if I don't wind up hovering, my entire body will get stung. Next, I found a little patch of coral to see how I would test out there, and it actually worked pretty well with the rays of sunshine making it look like I was just another part of the reef. It's a good thing I was able to hide well too, because there were definitely a lot of apex predators in the area. This reef shark was about 6 feet long, and he wasn't necessarily fired up, but he could turn on at any moment. After getting enough of a bearing of the area I was in, it was finally time to start hunting and put this to the ultimate test. Remember, I'm not just testing this camouflage to see if it catches fish. I'm seeing if I'll survive in shark-infested waters. If this doesn't work, I'm literally gonna get eaten. That's not a joke, guys. Please like and subscribe. I started scanning the bottom, and whenever you're underwater, you really want to make sure that you're covering every inch of the water with your eyes, because you never know when A, a prey item is going to be across you, and then B, a predator. You have to be alert at all times. Right in front of me is a mature queen conch, and I could tell that it's a mature queen conch because it kind of has a little bit of a flared lip. This is what I look like picking it up. I was so camouflaged that this thing couldn't even run away from me. After enough swimming, I ran into a mutton snapper, and these are actually one of the smarter fish on the reef, and you could tell he's just slowly staying just out of range. I literally can't reach him. What that tells me is that he's able to see me, and this camouflage might not be the best. Just when I was starting to doubt level 3, I came across a pretty good sized hogfish. I'll admit it, hogfish are not the smartest fish in the ocean, okay? Most of the time you could sneak up on them without them really going too crazy. This guy didn't have a reaction at all. I mean, I put one right into his dome, and that's when he realized that I was there. After I hit him, he was trying to run into the reef, but my slip tip deployed, and it was kind of just keeping him on the end of my spear like a dog on a leash.
All right, this isn't the worst camo in the world, I guess. Better than the Speedo.
Seems the blood from that hogfish wound up bringing in a pretty good sized reef shark, and you know, at this point you're just used to it, okay? It happens every time. I want you to take a really good solid look at this stingray. This is the last time you will see him before he is attacked by a hammerhead shark. I know, sad, but that's the reality of the ocean. In front of me are a school of barjack, and this fish is absolutely delicious when it gets a little bit bigger, and I usually like to eat them as sushi, but obviously right now they're adolescents. We got to give them time to grow up. Something that's already fully grown on the other hand, are these species of tang, and they, for the most part, will eat algae, and they're kind of a schooling, very calm fish. As I'm looking at the tang, I saw a snapper in between this cave, but I ran into the issue of not having anything covering my arms, and I actually wound up getting stung really bad by some fire coral. After that, I had it ingrained in my head. I was like, okay, I can't get too close to this reef because I'm getting stung left and right, which is a huge negative for this camouflage, by the way. Luckily, I was able to come across a hogfish, and this is actually incredibly rare behavior that you see. This hogfish thinks that he's completely camouflaged. You could tell he thinks that because the pattern all over his back, he has little strides of green, and you can see he's kind of just blending in with the grass and all of the rays of sunshine. Even though I'm getting super close, you'd think he'd know that I'm pursuing him, but he really doesn't. And you know when he realizes he's being pursued because he'll actually change and turn off his stripes, which he does right now. You see how he changed colors? When he changes colors is when he realizes he's being pursued. And I did take a shot on him, but after I missed, I was like, you know what? This guy deserves to live. We have enough hogfish in the tank. One thing that's undeniable though is that all I'm doing is running into seaweed this whole time. It's even on the floor, so I think I have an idea. But first, we've got to rate the paint camo. It somewhat worked, but I lost a lot of the paint while I was underwater, which means eventually the fish were gonna see me. I give the rock camo a 4 out of 10.
Let's test out the next camo. Earlier, I saw something down in the ocean that I'm gonna try and use for level 4. My plan is to wrap myself in seaweed. What better way to camouflage than to blend in with what's already down there, right?
The advantage of this suit is that seaweed naturally floats freely in the ocean, so I won't look sketchy pulling up on a fish. There are multiple pros and cons I almost immediately see when I put on this suit. The first pro is that my body is covered in a thick silicone casting. For this reason, I don't really have to be concerned with any stinging cells in the ocean because none of them can actually touch my skin. One of the cons, on the other hand, is that with all of this seaweed kind of free floating around me, every once in a while, it would appear into my vision really sporadically, and this would be kind of disorienting because it would come out of nowhere. And then there was the biggest con of all.
Something I did not account for is that this suit has very negative buoyancy. I'm slowly sinking while I'm in the water.
You burn about 1,300 calories an hour whenever you're free diving. At this point in the day, I had been diving for 8 hours, which means I was at a 10,000 calorie deficit, which is definitely not a good deficit to be at when you can't really swim your best. Under no circumstances was I gonna let that stop me though, and on top of that, the negative buoyancy actually allowed me to stay really close to the ground, making me an even more effective hunter. I can't stress how important it is to be comfortable underwater though, and I'd be lying if I said the thought of drowning wasn't getting to me, and I would argue that that's the reason that I missed this fish. After resting on top for a bit and catching my breath, I came across a hogfish that thought he was camouflaged behind this coral. I hit him with my spear, but I wasn't able to secure him, and he went darting to the other coral head, maybe about 50 yards to the left. I concluded that rather than chasing fish, I need to wait for them to come to me because I was just too slow under the water. Eventually, a very big hogfish came by, and I stoned him. A stone shot is when you instantly put the lights out on a fish, and that's exactly what happened. Notice how he didn't get the opportunity to swim away. That's because he's dead.
The camo works! The camo works! Stoned him too! Finally got my stone shot, bro. Oh, on camera.
This is where I felt like everything started to go right, because anytime I saw a fish, it would wind up on the end of my spear and not get away. This is a nice sized mangrove snapper, and he's gonna be delicious for dinner later. After catching that one, he must have called his brothers because they were all over the place, and I made a kebab out of this one. And I know what you're thinking, Nick, what is it that you're doing as these little pieces of seaweed are falling off your suit? Are they cemented onto you? The answer is no, my friend, and I'm glad you're concerned for the environment. I hired my guide specifically to make sure every little piece of leaf was caught in this tiny net. This ensures that we're not polluting and taking every necessary precaution to take care of our reefs. As amazing as everything was going, I can't just tell you a fairy tale worth of lies. At one point, it started to get really bad, and, you know, I'll just let the footage play right now.
This is so hard to swim in, guys.
My seaweed suit got caught in the reef, and at this point, I'm actively drowning in about 3 feet of water.
Yo, take the spear.
It's also dangerous because a shark can come out of nowhere at any moment.
Get off the reef, get off the reef. I'm like drowning in this. I know.
If it were up to me, I would drown making this video, so my guide decided to step in.
In the boat?
Bro, you're drowning, bro. I can't honestly.
I can't even swim right now. You need to get in the boat. Hey, I need to get 5 fish right now, for real. I'm as much as I'm drowning, bro, I'm in 3 feet on a coral head.
No offense. Shut the up and get on the boat, please.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. At this point in the challenge, my safety team was considering not letting me get back into the water due to extreme exhaustion this camouflage was causing.
Yeah, that's a horrible idea, allowing you to continue to dive even though I don't think that you should.
As much as it frustrates me, I trust you guys with my life, you know? And if you're telling me it's not safe, It's not safe.
But after discussing with the safety experts, we decided to do one more dive. It's time to push this camo to its limits. Right at the bottom of this coral head is a hogfish. I do a really good job line of sighting it. To line of sight something means to sneak up on it at an angle that they're not able to see you. Because this coral head is in between me and the hogfish, he has no idea that I'm here, and I'm able to put my spear right in the top of his head, and luckily it was a great shot. Looking back on this video though, I can't help but notice my demeanor. Usually I'm so stoked after catching a fish. I'm literally just dead as I'm holding that one up.
Let's go, baby. Oh, there's got it done. This suit works. Say what you want. The fish don't see me. Solid, good stuff.
Well, that one looked promising until most of the seaweed started falling off, and honestly, I wouldn't recommend trying it just for the sheer fear of drowning. I give it a 6 out of 10, but let's see if level 5 can beat that.
So far, I am not confident any of these camouflages will help me in shark-infested waters. So if level 5 can't get it done, I might get eaten alive. So here we have a custom coral suit.
This thing is beautiful, and what have we seen the most of underwater here? Coral.
I believe this suit will help me blend into my surroundings so well down there that I'll be able to catch anything. All right, let's get it. It's now or never for real.
The overpoweredness of this suit cannot be explained in a single sentence. It has the best of every world, starting with the fact that my entire body is covered so I'm not getting stung by anything in the water. It also has the advantage of being extremely comfortable and flexible compared to the seaweed suit, which I literally felt like I was drowning in. Another piece of good news is that it looks hyper realistic, so oftentimes if I'm sneaking up on a fish, they're gonna be really curious because they've never really seen a floating patch of coral in the ocean, and usually when a fish is curious, it'll come up and check you out even closer. It's important to remember that no matter how confident in your camouflage that you are though, there are still lots of sharks in the ocean. I was doing my best to blend in with the coral in hopes that this one wouldn't see me, especially because he's a pretty big black tip reef shark. That means that they're gonna be super aggressive if you ever catch a fish. They're pretty much gonna try to steal your food from you. A good rule of thumb is that for every shark that you see, there's probably about 3 or 4 that you don't. If I catch any one fish and it starts making commotion on the reef, or I don't get it under control fast enough, all of the sharks within a half-mile radius will more than likely come check me out. And remember, it's not the sharks that you see that you have to worry about, it's the ones that you don't see. I lock in on these white margate. They're a delicious fish. Take note of how their demeanor is entirely calm. They really could care less that I'm sneaking up on them until I actually get one into his side. Because there are so many sharks in the area, it was important that I got the fish out of the water immediately. The only problem with this is that if you don't have a good holding shot, sometimes the fish can get off the end of the spear, which is what happens here. This is extra bad because now the fish is bleeding and really attracting predators, but I'm never one to let a wounded fish go, and on top of that, I'm a very hungry individual, so I chased down the same fish, put a shot exactly where I put the shot before. It was actually incredible aim, and this time, rather than get it out of the water as soon as I could, I really just lifted it only about an inch to not cause a little bit more pressure and make it fall off. Nothing goes without consequence though, and catching that fish brought in a 10-foot hammerhead shark. There are 3 different species of hammerhead sharks, and this one is called a greater hammerhead. Usually when you see these guys in the wild, they're scanning the floor, and their hammer is used to dig for little invertebrates or stingrays or anything that they could find in the sand. So this shark swimming in the middle of the water column was very unusual behavior, and I couldn't help but wonder, like, why was this happening? This pretty much means that the shark is fired up, okay? It's in attack mode and it's actively hunting. The good news is that hammerhead sharks usually won't eat large mammals. So as this thing was around me, it's not like I was afraid of being on the immediate menu. With that being said, they are ambush predators, so at any moment this thing could turn and decide that I'm his snack. You guys remember that stingray from earlier? Turns out that's why this hammerhead shark was in attack mode. He's got scratches all over his body. You could even see that he's kind of breathing a little bit rapidly, and if you look at his stinger, it's pretty mangled. He was definitely stinging that hammerhead. Animals in the wild have absolutely incredible resilience, and I know it looks like that guy was pretty badly mangled, but I am 100% confident that he will make a full recovery unless something finishes him off in between his recovery period. To make sure I don't end up like that stingray, I want to test my camouflage a little bit more before going into shark-infested waters. This slow demeanor that I'm approaching the fish in is perfect because it doesn't really know that I'm an animate object. If it did, it would swim away very fast. After watching that shot, my coach had something to say.
Hey, that was some pro level stuff, buddy.
I'm just getting started because now I really am locked in on how to catch fish in this camo. Right here I'm approaching a mangrove and he thinks he's perfectly hidden inside this reef, and obviously not. He's ending up on the dinner plate. These ones are a nice size too to get under control. They're not too big and flailing, so I don't have to be afraid of it attracting too many sharks. Right here I'm looking deep inside this rock, and I want you to take note of all of the little pieces of seaweed at the front of my face. This is the advantage I have while using this suit. If I didn't have protection like this, I would not be able to be that close on the reef. It would be stinging my entire face. So not only is this an effective camouflage for hunting, but it's also really helping my comfortability.
Oh my god, It's heavy.
There's no debate. This is the most overpowered camo yet. The coral suit gets a 9 out of 10, which means that it won. After hours underwater, many scared fish, and missed shots, it's time to see if this coral suit can make me invisible.
Now that we know which camouflage is the absolute best for spearfishing, it's time to put it to the ultimate test by using it in shark-infested waters.
As you can see, we've chummed the water and there are hungry sharks everywhere. I would be risking my very life jumping into the ocean right now.
Which is why we got this dummy and wrapped it in the coral suit. It's time to throw him in and see how well this works.
When the dummy hit the water, sharks were everywhere, but not a single one decided to bite it, which could only mean one thing.
Looks like it does work in shark-infested waters.